back. Radioactive Curry. We got the Fuster from Fuzzy and the Fat Man Comics, the Comic Lizard, and the Jaded Geek here in the house on Collection Connection. We're going to be reviewing this movie today, 2009's Three Idiots in College. Farhan and Raju form a great bond with Rancho due to his positive and refreshing outlook to life. Years later, a bet gives them a chance to look for their long-lost friend whose existence seems rather elusive. Starring Amir Khan, R. Madhaven, Sharman Joshi, Kareena Kapoor, Bowman Hirani, and Omi Valdia.
How are those names? Better. You pronounce them way better than I do, because when I read half of it, I quit. This is R. This.
Remember, I have a cousin named Patra Pondrak Chusikrek.
Clarice, my wife can say it too. She'll be like, "Oh, that's probably," and I'm like, I just turn and look at her, and I'm like, "Oh, that ain't like Spanish." So I can read, it's Hispanic very well, but just syllables are like that long. So I tap out right here.
Three Idiots. I had no idea what to expect with this movie. I was, we have been kind of paused on doing any of this for, I want to say, 2 or 3 weeks right now. We haven't gone to India for a while, so it was refreshing, and it was good. It was good in a completely other way than the other movies that we've seen was good. It had that I don't know.
I thought it was going to be like Real Genius at first.
I called Hangover.
Cool with a bunch of you know what I mean? I thought it was going to be like the Indian version of Real Genius with Val Kilmer and stuff, with all these guys just getting together and doing stuff.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it wasn't, and I was just like, oh, this is still really cool. I love it.
When it showed the hazing scene at the beginning for the new students, my thought was, oh, is this India's version of Van Wilder?
Yeah.
Okay.
I called.
And they're gonna have one white guy play Cal Penn's part.
I was like, when they got up to the top of the roof, and he was like, the mystery was happening. I was like, oh, this is their version of The Hangover. Instead of being on top of the casino, they're on top of this thing. I was like, all right, because I didn't read into it at all. I don't watch trailers. You guys tell me the name, and I pop it on, So I'm just like, okay, this is The Hangover. Okay, cool. It's gonna be funny. And like you said, all of a sudden, these moments happen, and you're like, oh, well, this is kind of cute. And I'm hitting my kid. I'm like, look, watch this shit. And he literally put his phone down and just started watching the movie. And he was like, this is funny.
That's I want to say that's probably the most important part of these movies, the ones that are subbed, is that sometimes we're doing this because, honestly, some it's work. Sometimes we're reviewing these movies and it's work. And if they're speaking English, we can cheat. We can cheat and we can multitask. You can hear what they're saying but not pay attention to what's going on, and you can lose some of it. But these movies, when you have to read the subtitles, you can't muck around. You got to see what it is, and there's no real checking out on the movies. So the boys are in school, and it's just the positivity in this movie. Now, there are some negative stereotypes, but I don't want to say negative stereotypes, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows in this movie. It does shine the light on the academic pressure that's caused in the Indian community for all the kids to either be doctors or engineers. So, and then you could see when was it Farhad was at the end of the movie when he's feeling the pressure about having to either turn Rancho into his parents, or either he turns his back on his family or turns his back on Rancho. And he had already turned his back on Rancho, and Rancho saved his dad's life. And it's like,
no, the part that turned
to the window, what?
the window scene, like because the whole from the beginning to that window scene, it's fun. Like like you were saying, there's hazing. You know what I mean? He's peeing on things. Like you're like, okay, this is gonna be silly. And then as soon as it goes up, you see the dude hanging. I went, oh shit. Like I was like, it just got real.
Right after the musical number.
Yeah.
When they send the drone up.
And that number, dude, that number almost got Fuzzy to download it, dude. Let me tell you, it even made the baby kick. You know what I'm saying? Fuzzy was just getting down with his bad self. I was like, it's cool. I like it. But like, I think the best thing you said about it though was the positivity, because that's what it is. It was an uplifting like movie. You know what I mean? Like all these three friends finally meet up. But I called the ending like. I called it in the first 30 minutes. I was just like, when he was talking about so much about the deal he was going to get, I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, that's going to be him. Like, but the part that got me was that he was there for someone else. Like that came out of fucking left field where I was like, what? Like that's a great M. Night Shyamalan twist. I was going to write him and go, fucking look at this. This is a good twist. I was like, I literally dropped my fucking drink. I was like, oh shit, no way. I knew what women feel like when they watch the soap operas and shit, and that fucking, the reveal and shit. That's what it felt like. I was like, oh.
But see, the thing with this movie is that it has a bunch of like comedic parts. It fluctuates between. Like you have that fun song, and then you have the kid with his kind of like, "Am I going home?" His like guitar like song, and then his hanging. You know what I mean? And then when you bring up the guy, the twist where you realize that Rancho isn't there, but during that you're like trying to figure out, well, who is he? It's like all of a sudden it's a mystery. But at the same time, they're holding the dude's urn, the father's ashes over a toilet. You know what I mean? And it's like you're not
even the reveal that it's empty. That it's empty. You know what I mean? That was the part that got me where I was like, I'm like, it's empty, and they have that pause where it's like a joke, but then it goes back to something serious.
Exactly. And so you're just like, oh, this is fun, but it's not, because this guy, it's one of those. And where is he? What's going on? But they're holding the dude's. His arms are getting like tired too. He's holding it, and then like at the scene, he's holding it. He's like ramrod straight. And as the story goes on, his elbows are like resting on the rim of the toilet, and then his forearms are down, and it's getting closer and closer. It's like little things like that make it good.
I'm nervous.
Why?
Because Josh is quiet.
Josh liked it. I can see it in his glasses. They're like a lighter. It's like a mood ring, and it's lighter. So I know he liked it, dude.
Well, if you combine the two parts of Bahubali, this will be our 10th Indian film. And I was concerned going into it because it's called Three Idiots, and I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be some like cheesy slapstick knockoff, college comedy. And American cinema has messed me up so bad that I walk into movies with anxiety. And the thing is that we've had 10 at least good films, if not amazing films, and this one's definitely on the higher end of that scale. Very surprising about the quality of the film, and I'm even more surprised that Nate mentioned that this is 2009, so this is more than a decade old. And, this has been out there for all this time, and we missed it.
This is an 8th grader old.
Yeah.
Like I did my fuzzy text to all the people that I, give the, ideas to, the same people that hit me up about like the Academy Award showing the RRR, and they went, is that the movie you guys? I'm like, yes, that's the same movie we're talking about. And I was like, but watch this one too, because this one blew me away. Like, you won't believe it. Like, again, it would hit them out of left field, because if I'm referring something to them, they're thinking it's shoot 'em up, bang bang, and stuff like that. It's like when Liz said, it's a fuzzy movie. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, it's like you said, slapstick.
Idiots are going to be getting shot the whole time.
Yeah, there's going to be fucking, they're going to be fighting all these bad guys. And it's going to be awesome. And I just sat down and prepared for that. And I went, oh, Like, I'm not lying. Fuzzy was leaking
That's
all
the
down
thing
his
that I
face.
saw. I even told Josh. I said, "This is a total Fuzzy movie, but not for the reasons that everybody thinks it's a Fuzzy movie for."
And I
Yeah.
don't.
This is a Fuzzy movie because it's got the feels.
Well,
Yeah, get to it.
and the thing is that that's not really a downside for the Fuzzster. I mean, he is an emotional sort of fellow, and he gets all misty-eyed at the wrong times. But if I wasn't mostly German, I would have wept at this film too.
Dude, I know
This
what you
movie
did.
was so good that Josh didn't cry. He just wanted to murder people less.
Right. Many people were saved for him watching this movie.
Yes, dude.
I came away with a pretty positive attitude after that film.
He was happy for like 2 hours.
I'm still on the fucking high of it. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like that guy. I was like, fuck, I gotta think like that motherfucker, dude. Like, you know, he was peppy, dude.
Here's the thing, I'm on the high of it too. I want to try to spread the gospel. I was preaching to Lego about, like, dude, you guys, especially Lego, he's missing out on some good movies, because I even asked him if he could put together the expanded Lego list, because we are missing those weird movies. Because he was giving us some fucking weird movies. I was like, just make sure there's no little boys in them. But
Yeah.
but aside from that, like, you know, he said he was liking the Curry show, so that's good. But the comedy, I found it to be genuine. One of the things that I'm noticing, as because a lot of these movies we're watching for work technically, or for the show, and the comedies don't hit when you're watching them by yourself. But I was laughing out loud. I was laughing out loud during this movie, and you know, and I was, it solicited legitimate emotion from me, you know, and even the people who I didn't like, it wasn't like, I think in the States, the movie, they do a good job of making you loathe the bad guys, and I hated the bad guys in the movie. I don't even want to say I hated the bad guys. I didn't like the bad guys, but I didn't loathe them. So when they were, when the story came back around and they had their redemption arcs, you know, it felt okay to let them back in, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Well, and I think one of the advantages that these Indian films have is that their length gives you sufficient time to develop attachment to the characters and to actually flesh them out. So even the main antagonist in the film, what is this, director Viru, who they call Virus? He,
The silencer.
well, the silencer, yeah.
And the silencer, dude. You
Yeah,
can't
so-
forget the silencer.
With the director of the school, the dean, you know, you really, he's kind of comically played out anyway, but you kind of like loathe him. But by the time, you know, you get to the redemption part of the arc, like Nate said, that you're attached to him as much as you are to the other characters, and you're glad to see the story turn out the way that it does. So, and I think, I was talking to Liz about that. I think part of the reason that works that way with these films is because they're long enough that you get attached to them.
Yeah, that's
I agree.
true.
I
That's
agree.
true.
Like,
And it's legitimate attachment through what happens in this movie. I think that, you know, and it's kind of sad because like, I was just telling Fuzzy about this yesterday, that we're watching these movies. Every time I watch one, I love one. And every time I go into it, just almost nervous about whether or not I even want to keep doing this. But I love it every time. I love it every time. And then it's like subtitles. I'm like, oh, there's subtitles. Oh, it's so long. And the subtitles keep me in there. And the length establishes the story. But I'm still fighting my stupid Westernism on enjoying these movies. It's brutal.
Yeah.
well, no, like, but like you were saying, I think us Westerners want our villains to not be redeemed because we have anti-heroes, you know what I mean? An anti-hero technically is a fucking bad guy that does something good, you know what I mean? Like he takes that one moment and becomes the good guy and shit like that. So our bad guys have to be that much worse than that guy. Now it doesn't always hit. Like the other movie we watched, The Raid, like that bad guy is a bad fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like he's legit loathing. You can't redeem that guy. This guy, you can understand. You can understand why Virus is doing it. You know what I mean? Like, if you put yourself in the character's shoes, you're going like, well, yeah, I want the best for my kids. You know what I mean? If my job is to get the best, like you can see where he's coming from. You know what I mean? But you watch Animal House, right? And you watch Dean in that movie, he's just a fucking dick. You know what I mean? He's just a full-blown dick. And even though the Animal House crew is kind of a dick, like, they play childish pranks and, shit like that, he's worse. Like, he's a fucking a vengeful dick. So he doesn't get an arc. He just fucking gets his comeuppance and call it a day. Like this guy deserved it. And same with fucking Silencer. You know what I mean? That was a great little haha, like at the end when he signs the fucking paper and he realizes that it's the fucking scientist and then he's going to kiss his ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was just sweet, sweetness. And I liked it. I have no complaints on this movie. Like that's why I'm like, I was shocked at this movie more than anything because I have no complaints. Like it hit every fucking fuzzy check mark it needed.
So tell me about
two.
Pia.
Look, man, she's hot too, but she doesn't take my what's the X-Men one, the villain.
Oh,
the one that's like where they got the superpowers and fucking.
Oh, and Brahmastra.
Brahmastra, that's still my girl. Don't care. Her and the mom from the Vikram. The one that breaks out with the forks and stabs everyone. She stole my heart too. I like her. She stole my heart big time. I still have nightmares of that lady coming after me.
I think, except for Drishyam 2, I've gone through the list. I could probably dig a little bit deeper for the next movie, but this one was good, man. This movie was good. How spicy is it? Like, it's different. It's different than the type of movies that I watch. And I think since this is a different show, these are different movies. This is a different show. I want to give this one another 10, man.
Wow.
It was good. I can't think of anybody who, like, I could say, hey, you wouldn't like this movie. I don't want you to watch it because you wouldn't like this movie, but I can't think of that person.
Oh, that's Sanchez.
That's it. Yeah, but here's the thing about Sanchez. Sanchez he wants to be right so much that he won't even try to watch the movie. Just like he'll have the last pop on earth and say that he loves it. The problem is that in front of Fat Collectibles 11 years ago, when I met Sanchez and James, we all sat around and had a talk about how pops were stupid, they suck, and the people who liked them were fucking idiots. We all said it. The difference between me and them is they like them now and they have them. And it didn't dawn on me that they're cool. No, they're fucking, I like cool things because it's cool. I don't want somebody to take my cool thing and make it cutesy.
Right.
Cutesy shit is cute. Like, if I want something cutesy, I'll go fuck with Pikachu. I don't need you to make the alien I don't want to take the alien from Ripley, fresh from his mouth, doing the jaws, and put it into some cute bobblehead. Like, alien needs to be an alien, and Pikachu needs to be Pikachu, and pops are fucking stupid.
But we digress.
Exactly. I gave it a 10, Lizard. I gave it a 10, Lizard.
Good thing you can edit stuff.
That's been holding on to his chest for a minute.
Oh, they
He's like,
know.
let me tell you something.
They know
Let me
exactly
tell
how I feel about that. Why do you think when that article came out about them dumping how many $1 million worth of those pops, I was just like, oh.
I want to ask. I was going to ask Havoc on when we do the later show about why is James being his lawyer? Because if you listen to the show, you can hear James talking, going like if it's his lawyer whispering in his ear, yeah, and tell him, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, and then this and that.
True. I was listening to the conversation at a cat issue, but yeah, these movies I would recommend them to anybody. Anybody could watch these movies. Even the horror movie, which I didn't like, but it was it was still good, and it was still very enjoyable, and it has to say something for Josh to continue to watch these movies, because Josh doesn't like singing in movies. He doesn't like musicals at all. Like, his favorite Disney movie is Atlantis, because there is no song, there's no singing in that movie. That's the only reason why that's his favorite movie. Not because, it's a good movie, but that's not why he picked it.
I was watching the musical act when it was coming, and they were when they were falling in love, and she had her epiphany about how it's him and she wants him, and then she broke into song about it, and I kind of had this moment where I was like, them going into the musical note right here at this point really kind of shortcuts us to how she feels about him, and it worked. And
yeah,
I never liked that as a plot device. I didn't like songs being used to shortcut through story or resolve conflict, but it worked, and it works, and they're using it well. And fuck, I don't know, man. I'm wrong. It's good. They're doing it, and I like it. Fuck.
I've always been wishy-washy.
They're classic, storytelling. I keep going back to it. It's like the stuff, the stuff that we saw. It's from the 40s and 50s cinema. Except it's modern time. It's got the story. It's got the classic feel of, this is what cinema is.
Soul.
This is what cinema is. It doesn't
they have soul.
Flashy, and it's got
heart.
It does. It has content.
Yeah, all of our shit's plastic out here now. It's bad.
No, that's what we're missing is what you said there, heart. Like, you can have a flashy fucking, big, explosions. Watch early Michael Bay movies.
Okay?
Okay?
I love Michael Bay movies,
right?
And
if you watch them early though, like The Rock has heart.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, when he's standing there and he fucking lights it and he goes like this, dude, you know what I mean? You're like crying, oh my God, like, what the heck? Like, that's it. As time went on, people were like, oh, fuck the heart, let's just blow everything up, you know what I mean? Like,
but with Michael Bay movies, in that scene, like what you're talking about, or in Armageddon, when you see Liv Tyler and she's got her hand up on the screens knowing that her dad's dying.
I know Jaded cried there. I did. We all did. We all cried at that.
But the thing is that
don't shake your head.
Those aren't. It's not that it's heart. The movie didn't necessarily have heart. It's those iconic images. It's like, I don't know. For me, still, it's seeing seeing the flag flying over, a baseball game. It's just flashes and images that we get here in American cinema. Over Western cinema, I guess. It's just they try to nail you with like an image or an icon to help you drum up the feels. Where in these movies, it is it's like the story throughout. It's the content throughout. It's not just trying to throw icons out there to get you the feels. It actually has those kinds of emotions, and those actors are able to convey those types of situations and those feelings, and they can emote. That's the other thing, is that they're really good actors, and they can emote everything from love to hate to anger to frustration to silliness to they got it all.
And they nailed the silliness in this. They nailed the silliness in this movie. They did. How spicy, Liz?
This is definitely a 9. It's not a 10 for me, but it's definitely up there. It's a 9. My favorite, I gotta say though, my favorite part of this movie is that stupid hazing scene where he's wearing the Union flag underwear and he's got his James Bond bow tie on and he's like dun, 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 and they have that circle and the turns and does the thing. I was rolling from Josh had to pause the movie because for whatever reason that just hit me and I was just laughing hysterically that an Indian would like glom onto James Bond like that, you know.
It is British.
I understand that it's British, but still, you know.
Everybody loves James Bond. That's why, dude. James Bond is
even the colonists.
We'll
love
see.
James Bond.
We'll see if he becomes Jane Bond or not.
Don't jinx us like that, man.
As long as you got the Lucky Fuzz cup.
Salud.
No, not yet.
Spiciness.
No, I want to rate this one higher on the scale in terms of the 10 movies that we've seen. It's definitely on the upper end. It's probably top 5, maybe even top 3 of the films that we've seen so far. I don't think I can put it up on the level of RRR. That's still going to be my perennial favorite, but this is definitely good. I'm going to give this a 9.
A diggity.
That's like a fuzzy 50.
I was literally gonna say that. I go, that's higher than I was gonna give it because I mean I'm giving it a 10. You know what I mean? I'm actually giving it a 12 because it hit 2 marks that I want to hit. But still, I think Jada giving it a 9 is still higher than that. So I'm giving it a 12 just because of the fact that again, it is legit. You can almost say a perfect movie. Because just like you were saying about the musical numbers, I am wishy-washy about musicals all day. Like there are certain musicals. I love Grease. I'm a Grease junkie, dude. I was the guy at I'm sorry, Jay, I'm telling you.
You're the guy there in the theater making out with guys?
No, I was in the theater, but we go together like that. I was just dancing around with everyone singing the song. I did Grease in school just so I could sing "Go Grease." That's all I wanted to do, right? But then he showed me certain ones like Sound of Music, and I want to throw shit at the TV. I was like, why are these people?
Now you're crossing the line.
Dude, they start singing out of nowhere, like just out of nowhere. They're just standing there. But like at least at Grease, like with Grease, you can literally see him winding up for the fucking song, like where he's like, "Tell us about it," and then you hear the dun dun dun, and you're like, okay.
But in Sound of Music, it's a historical story about the Von Trapp family singers. Like that's what they were.
All I keep hearing is that doe a deer shit. Anyways, what I'm saying about these ones, with these ones, it's like you said, it's like almost like a calming moment because you're hearing it in her head. And what we do here in the West is we find a popular song, right? We find a popular song. If we want to know what the girl's feeling like, we play that popular song in the background, and you're like, okay, she's in love with this guy. You know what I mean? Or when the girl walks in and she's hot, and the guy turns around, and you're like, you want to tell? You hear, she's a super freak. Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
what plays. That's what plays when I'm looking.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. Radioactive Curry. We all loved it. 9s and 10s all the way around. And Fuzzy made up for their 9s. He put extra credit in there.
That's
so
it
looks like it got 40 out of 40. If you get a chance, it's on Netflix until March 30th. It's leaving. So get it while it's hot. And
give us some suggestions.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we
movies.
need some suggestions. We're running out. So we need to keep this curry flowing. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you next movie.
Zubi dubi pampara, zubi dubi param pam, zubi जुबी दुबी नाचे क्यों पागल स्टूपिड मन जुबी दुबी पंपारा जुबी दुबी परम्पम जुबी दुबी नाचे क्यों पागल स्टूपिड मन शकों पे पत्ते गा रहे हैं फूलों पे भंवरे गा रहे हैं दीवाने किरने